Today, in Exploring Scotland's history, we're indoors for a change, and we're here to bring you a very special treat. The Stuarts in exile, they have returned. In various trips up to this amazing West Highland Museum, we have showcased quite a lot of the great things that this museum has to offer. But what this museum is world famous for is the collection of items associated with Bonnie Prince Charlie and also Flora MacDonald. This year, the West Highland Museum celebrates its centenary with a truly astounding art exhibition. The Exiled Stuart clan has returned. The West Highland Museum is already renowned worldwide for its amazingly detailed and vast collection of Jacobite exhibits, which inform the visitor not only of Flora MacDonald and Charles Edward Stuart, but of the larger Jacobite and Highland culture. There are many personal effects from the Jacobite era with the story behind them. It's a museum I can keep returning to, and every visit I can spot a new detail that I had up to that point overlooked. But back to the Stuart exhibition. If you can visit Fort William, you can view 4 generations of the deposed Royal Stuart dynasty. For those of you who can't, here's what I found in my visit. The quality, symbolism and detail on this collection truly left me speechless. First, we will look at Princess Clementina Sobieska's grandfather. It is presumed to be painted around 1710. He became quite famous across Europe after being victorious in the Battle of Vienna in 1683. His hussar's armour is leather with metal scales sewn on, almost dragon-like in appearance. The next is a portrait of James VII or II, painted in 1694 by Pierre Mignard. The artist was in his 81st year at the time. He also worked on a family portrait. This painting is really quite stunning in person. The eyes are so detailed you expect the portrait to come alive. James sits for the painting in full armour and the blue sash of the Order of the Garter over his shoulder. This stunning portrait hasn't seen the light of day until it emerged from a private collection in 2020 and now hangs here before us. This is, however, I think my favourite painting in the exhibition. This is Prince James, aged 4, with Walter Strickland looking over him with admiration. It was painted in 1692 by Nicholas de Largier. The prince is in unusual attire, it would seem, although he wears the Order of the Garter like in the last portrait. Boys during this period wore frocks until around 7 years old. Less wealthy boys probably wore them longer. It was practical for toilet training and could easily be adjusted for growth. Around age 7, James would have experienced breeching, which is the first dressing in trousers or breeches. Often breeching was marked by a portrait or the giving of money to the gentleman in question. There is quite a lot of symbolism in this painting. On the left hand side there is a parrot, which is a symbol of Catholicism in general and the Virgin Mary in particular. On the left hand side too is a small depiction of men beside a boat. This symbolises parental guardianship. What excites me is currently experts are looking at the bottom right of the painting. They plan to ascertain if the flower is the Bunvolvulus flower. In Scotland, this grows uniquely on the Isle of ℜ𝔦𝔤𝔲𝔏. It is said that Bonnie Prince Charlie scattered the seeds on his arrival in 1745, and that if you dig up the plant, it will not flourish elsewhere. The painting was originally smaller, and Walter, at 17 years old, was an addition. He was the son of Lady Strickland, Prince James's under-governess. His unusual pose is mainly so he doesn't overshadow the little prince, who must be the main focus of the painting. King James VIII and III is a beautiful sitting painted by Alexis Simon Bell in 1712. It was only discovered in 2020, and this is the first time it has been exhibited in the UK. Well done, West Highland Museum. He was around 24 in this painting. He didn't commission another painting in his lifetime, so despite being known as the Old Pretender, really there are few images of him beyond his 20s. Many portraits were copied by various artists and many miniatures produced too over the years. It makes it complicated when learning the provenance of historic pieces, and this painting of Queen Clementina is no exception. Trevisan painted Clementina, yet the Earl of Marischal commissioned William Mosman to paint a full-size copy of the painting. This is another rare view, another painting that hasn't been displayed before, another first. This is James, and beside him we have Queen Clementina. For all you younger folk that use filters on your photographs, so did she. It's said that the Queen was ravaged by anorexia at this stage, so they made the Queen look her best. These two paintings, King James VIII, III and Clementina, are copies by Antonia David, of originals after Martin van Muytens. A lot of copies of these paintings were circulated at the time with various levels of artistry, both talented and not so much. But this is what we came for. Bonnie Prince Charlie, painted in 1737. It said it was before his first haircut, so that is his natural blonde hair. Prince Charles is painted here by Rosalba Carriera in 1737. The prince was 16 years old and touring Italy, as his father hoped it would improve his behaviour and maturity. It is probably the last image of Charles with his own hair, as fashion at that time would dictate he would soon wear a powdered wig. This is also believed to be the only accurate depiction of him at a particular age. His father tended to commission paintings that showed him older than his years, I suppose for the positive propaganda. This is another portrait that has been hidden for some time. It was unveiled at the National Museum of Scotland in 2019, and this is only its second outing. Miniatures were very popular, usually a copy of a full-size original painting. In this case, it is a Jean-Daniel Cam copy of a Maurice Quentin de la Tour painting made in 1749, a year after the original. This second miniature, again from Cam, is from a Louis Toc original in 1748. It is painted on vellum, a prepared animal skin. This depicts Clementina Walkinshaw, the mother of the prince's daughter, and is painted here in 1746 by Alan Ramsay, one of my favourite painters and a staunch Jacobite. She moved in with the prince in 1752 and they had their daughter Charlotte a year later, and she stayed with him right up until 1760. Although the prince did not have any portraits commissioned per se in his later years, some drawings and paintings have survived. This is a copy by Robert Cooper of a sketch by Ozias Humphrey in 1776. The prince has aged, put on weight, and visibly looks rather defeated, in my opinion. This is quite an important painting by Hugh Douglas Hamilton in 1786. Hugh was of Irish descent. This has not been exhibited since 1911. This portrait was shortly before the prince passed away. Hamilton made many copies of the painting on his return to England, but this is the only one he painted from life. In 1788, he also painted the Bonnie Prince's daughter, Charlotte, Duchess of Albany. She even had miniatures produced by artists in Rome, some so tiny they were cameo rings. Hamilton, in fact, was the only artist from these shores to paint original portraits of the exiled Stuarts. Another of the popular miniatures, this one by Frances Dumont of Charlotte, was in 1788. She is depicted as a Vestal Virgin. Again, this stunner has never been exhibited before. And this one, too, has not seen the light of day until now. It is the only known portrait of one of Charlotte's children to Prince Ferdinand de Rohan. This is Marie Victoire. So that was the stunning Stuart exhibition. The staff, volunteers and many more individuals made this collection possible through dedication to this noble cause. I would like to thank Vanessa Martin, Curator-Manager at the museum, for allowing me to access the building out of hours before the public viewings of these stunning and unique pieces. If you get a chance this month, view this collection before it heads to Poland to the rebuilt Museum of the Princess Lubomirski, close to where the Bonnie Prince's mother spent her formative years. I will leave a link below if you would like to donate to the West Highland Museum. I will also drop a link to a video which shows the other amazing collections held within the museum, including the commandos. Look out for future videos in conjunction with West Highland Museum as we tag along to the Highland Archaeology Festival. Until next time, thank you for watching.